I take these off now. Hi. So we're gonna work on some art, which is something that we haven't done in a while. I've been like, I don't know, man, putting it off, I guess, but not really, not like trying to, just like my pupper's been going on like 2 long walks a day, and I just been getting tired. You get tired. Not only that, but I've been working on some stuff that like isn't really conducive to streaming, and then like I get to the end of the day and it's like, hey, you want to work on more extra stuff? And I'm like, not really. That's the reality of it. I wish I could stream just like whatever I'm working on, and then you guys could get to see it, but like it's just not the nature of comics. I'd stream every day if that was the case. If I was like down to just working on my own stuff, you'd see it every day. Sipping on a coffee, decaf, because I get the evening jitters if I don't. We can kick it over to Photoshop. This is what we're working on today. This is a Jeremy Hahn logo for his anthology, and he was like, hey, can I get your take on it? He gave me a bunch of other takes on it. Let me see if I can cut and paste some of those in. One from Brennan Wagner, I believe, who I met real briefly in San Diego Comic-Con. Looks really good. Looks fantastic. I'm like, Jeremy, I don't know why you need my help. Like this is already really good. He did a few. His assistant did a few that are like really cool. His assistant is let me get her name because she deserves credit. Amber. She doesn't color much beyond flat stuff for like pins and things like that. So like she kind of colored it with that in mind. She did a bunch of these. Let me clip a few more in here so you guys can see. I don't have Amber's last name, unfortunately. Look at these. Pretty neat. We're gonna stay away from maybe these eye-catching day glow stuff that works for pins really well, and kind of keep it semi-normal. Jeremy said that this is kind of like the base color. This is kind of like what he envisions it as. So we're going to kind of like go from here, maybe do something, honestly, maybe do something very similar. But like punch it up more, make it work a little bit more. And I figured this was like a good opportunity to like, do some flats, do some chilling and flatten. Push the coffee over there on the other side of me so I don't put my stylus inside it. Right-handed, coffee on the left side. You guys got to remember that. That's a pro tip. When I was younger, I was eating and drinking a lot more at the desk because I was like working a lot more crazy hours and stuff. And we're gonna just flat this bad boy. So I think this thing is huge. I think he gave it to me huge. It's gigantic. Look at 10 by 10. This is why, like, I don't know if you can tell in the stream, but when I move it, it kind of like clips a little bit. That where it like shears a little bit. I don't know what to call that. V-sync problems, is that the gamer term? I don't even know. Show you a little bit about how I flat. Since I'm flatting just for me, what I do is kind of like take one big swatch of color, put it down, and then select the outside of the thing. And like Jeremy closed his lines pretty well on this, so it should be pretty easy. Kind of just do that, and then I have a hotkey for expanding the selection. So we'll expand the selection a few times. You can see in the history palette over there, it's just saying expand, 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 expand. Fill it with white. And we should be like good to go as far as like this goes. Man, my computer's like really struggling with the dimensions of this thing. My computer is very good, and Jeremy puts a lot of demands on it. I'm not gonna lie to you. A lot of the realm pages that we did. Hey Travis, what's up, man? A lot of the realm pages that we did, my computer was like chugging through them. I hope things are good with you, Travis. Yeah, so we want to keep this kind of close to this. I want to get it in this ballpark. Not necessarily have to keep it these colors. In fact, I think I'm going to tweak the wings a little bit and tweak some other stuff. So, you know, we'll do our own spin, but try to keep it this as well. Man, so this is kind of how I flat. Like, just we kind of picked a skull color. You never want to like retrace the same space twice. Going to work on the next Wonder Woman issue. Nice. Cool, man. I saw Tamara's coloring that, right? She's doing a great job. I saw some of her stuff that she was doing over you, and I was like, man, this stuff's so good. Yeah, she makes I think the like appeal with her color is she makes skin tones feel really warm. I was thinking about this the other day. I don't know if you remember on one of the last Nightwing things that we did where Dick Grayson's like in the I guess like psychiatric hospital. I can't really remember. And Donna Troy, I believe it's Donna Troy, one of the Titans, two of the Titans. It was Aqualad and Donna Troy come to visit him. He looks at the phone and it's like a picture of all the Titans, like all in their costume. I tried to actually ape Tamara for that shot because I was like, let's make them feel warm and inviting. So I was like, I'm just gonna low key just totally rip Tamara right here. I mean, it's funny because like I say that and I assume some people, yeah, in the hotel room. Yeah. In the hotel room. Right. For some reason, I imagined it more of like maybe this is like where I was coming from at the time, but like Rick Grayson was like psychologically getting tested and they were like visiting him at a facility, but I guess that wasn't the case at all. You did great on that. Yeah. You get a lot of shares on that one. Man, maybe that's indicative. Maybe I should be thinking more like Tamara in the future. I don't know. I'm working on a thing right now that I can't really talk about, but because it's not announced, but the artist is big into Mignola, and he was like, I imagine this scene like this scene in Hellboy, as far as color goes, and I was like, man, I should just pour over these Hellboys and just like straight up start pulling palettes out of it. Because if that's what the artist wants, it's like, dude, like it's a great opportunity to learn, and I'll put my own spin in there too. Be kind of fun. Yeah. I think maybe that's where I was coming from with the hospital and the evil psychiatrist. Yeah. But lately I've been warming up. Shannon's taking a picture of me. Lately I've been like kind of warming up to not like like ripping people off, but like just trying to dissect how other people work and how other people are thinking about color. Because I think doing that is valuable. I do think that figuring out how other people work will only enhance your own work. And like that was the issue where you threw a curveball experimenting with gray tones. Yeah, I actually tried out for a thing just recently that I think I did not get. That was gray toned, so it was good for that. But it was gray toned in like an odd way, in a way that I hadn't seen before, where it was like a page that was just like black. It was like white backgrounds, black and white backgrounds, like a normal page, and then the characters were just one shade of gray. And I was like, what is this for? I don't know. It didn't make any sense to me. I don't know what the artist was thinking. I never had a conversation with him about it, but I was curious where his headspace was at with it. That annual where you were like, I'm gonna start doing gray tones, actually like kicked my butt to like start learning how to render faces as well as you. Because I was like, oh man, there's like so much here that I can play with, and it was like, I don't know. I was like, I just, it was like that moment where I was like, oh, I should be doing this better, and I was just like, I leveled up a little bit. Yeah, I speaking of learning from the people around you, I've been drawing a comic myself, and I'm not the greatest artist, and I'm having problems with like making things feel dynamic. And so I was like, this happened right at the same time that I interviewed Brent Schoonover for the Colorist Jam, and he was talking about how one of the things that influenced him when he was starting was Batman the Animated Series. God, I didn't hate you for it? Oh no, man. It was like kind of a kick in the butt that I needed to like start thinking about these things more. I actually clipped a bunch of stuff, a bunch of like faces and hands and stuff out of that issue in the gray tones, just to be like, okay, what is he doing here? Like, how can I get better? You know, like, yeah, I was really inspired by it, by the work that you put in there. For sure. If anybody hasn't checked that out, they should. The Nightwing Annual is really good, that Travis and I worked on. But yeah, I was talking to Brent Schoonover for the Colorist Jam, and he was saying that he was like, oh, I got this Batman the Animated Series art book, and in it, Bruce Timm talks about how he did like these drawings of Bane, and he tried to I'm gonna turn this off. I don't think we need this anymore. In these drawings of Bane, he said that he made them as Kirby as possible, and Brent was like, huh, and he like never really got Kirby before then. And then once he saw those Bane drawings, he was like, it clicked with him with Kirby. And then that conversation made me go, huh. And then Kirby clicked a little bit more with me. I went and got Commandi, The Last Boy on Earth. I got 40 issues of that on Comixology. I'm like halfway through it right now. And whew, man, that is a spicy book. It is bonkers, like all the way through. Every panel is like as dynamic as possible. It's just like Kirby cutting loose. And Kirby never clicked with me before, because I had started reading the Fantastic Four, and I got those like black and white like phone books that they put out like forever ago. They're probably still out. Where it's like the classic issues on like black and white newsprint in like a phone book. just like made as cheaply as possible for as many people as possible. And I those issues like just did not click with me. Those Fantastic Four, like the first bit of it. And so I was like, oh, if like I'm not gelling with this, and like, you know, Kirby's kind of known for the Fantastic Four, I was like, if I'm not like really into this, like maybe I'm not a Kirby guy. And it kind of put me off from him for a while. But you know what it was? It had nothing to do with Kirby. It was like Stan Lee stuff. Like I was not a Stan Lee guy. It was Stan just yammering on and on and on in those issues, like just drowning me in text, and I just couldn't do it. Is this a Dracula Detective Appreciation Club? Yes, it is. When we start getting into the Sega Saturn, man, we're gonna be playing some weird games like Dracula Detective and Haunted Casino. Those are two separate licenses. But yeah, I like, dude, I was kind of put off from Kirby, and then I was having trouble with dynamic figures, and what Brent said was like resonating in the back of my head at the time of like, you know, this really dynamic picture of like Bane the wrestler, like taken after Kirby. And then he was like, so then I started reading Kirby stuff, and then I was like, so maybe I should read some Kirby stuff. And Kamandi is like bonkers. It's like stuff that like normal comics would spend like 6 issues on, Jack spends like 6 minutes on, like 6 pages. They had to beat the commies to space. Yeah. It's such a, oh man, I didn't even get that far. I got like maybe 10 issues in, and I was like, I'm just not having a good time. You know that thing where like we start reading a comic and you're like, oh no, I'm just not having a good time. Like that's what was happening. Yeah, man, yeah. But Kamandi, on the other hand, so I was like, I don't know why I like this more than I like everything else. And somebody on Twitter was like, oh, because that's Jack writing it, doing like whatever he wants. And he's not getting bogged down in Stan's words. And I was like, holy shit. And then I was like, I got to start reading all this DC stuff. It's also like later in his career, to be fair. Jack was like a ton more dynamic, but like every single page is just exploding in your face all the time in that book. It's fantastic. There's like, it's weird. It feels like that book in particular feels like 90s comics to me before 90s comics. And the reason is because it's like great drawings after great drawings. And it's like, let's not get bogged down in story. Let's just like give people this insane ride, you know? Like Kamandi never like stops and thinks about like how to integrate himself into society. He's always just punching idiots. Like that's what the book is about. It's just him just punching idiots and like kind of being like, for those who don't know, Kamandi is set in the far future where, so the story is that Jack from his editor told him, hey, you know, Planet of the Apes is hot. We got to do a Planet of the Apes book. And so can you design me one? And he was like, yeah, sure. So he designed this like Planet of the Apes, only instead of just apes, it's like all kinds of creatures. And then Kamandi's like a human who is in this bunker, and he's out now. This is like the last surviving member of this bunker, forced to leave it. and he just encounters, it's like his interactions with the world, and he remembers the world the way it was in like our time, or like the 70s or whenever Jack made this. So you got the Statue of Liberty, like destroyed and underwater in like the first issue, because they wanted to make is the most approachable Kirby book for that timeless aspect. Yeah. Well, I'm glad I stumbled into it. I did some Googling. I was like, what's the best Kirby stuff? Because after reading that Fantastic Four run, or like a little bit of it, I was like, I can't just randomly grab stuff. Apparently I have to grab the good stuff. But yeah, so then it's just like Commandi's like off on his adventure, like ready to go. And then from there he just starts punching and shooting. Like, yeah, but like the way that you get hooked into the book is like he's punching and shooting, but like you don't know what he's going to be punching and shooting next. And that's like the hook of the book. And I it feels the same way as like when I was first reading Spawn. It's like when Spawn was coming out, it's like, oh, what cool thing is Spawn going to be doing next? I wasn't like emotionally attached to Spawn, but I was like, I want to turn the page. I want to see the next thing. Sometimes in comics, that's all you need, man. Just get them to turn the page. Just get them into the next thing. There's like gopher people in Ohio. Don't you want to see that? And of course I want to see that. Like, come on. So yeah, Commandi. I can't recommend it enough. It's so good. I think I might try to pick up some Commandi single issues here and there at conventions if I can. They're not exactly cheap, but they're not exactly expensive. The Rebirth Commandi, where they had 12. Yeah, I was reading about, when I was like reading about how Commandi got started, there was an article that linked to that as well. I haven't read that, but I'm sure it's good. Those art teams they put together for that run were really, really great. Some of them were like, oh man, dream team. Let me think about this for a second. We're gonna make this like an aqua. I guess. I don't know that we need to do that much to this. We're gonna do some stuff at the end to kind of like unify the palette just a tiny bit. Make it more of like an aqua kind of thing. I've been coloring the line art a lot more. Basically each issue is a cliffhanger the next creative team has to figure out how to solve. Oh, that's great. That's so fun. Jeremy does this stuff with tentacles where he, like, my impulse is to like really get in here and colorize the line art, but he also, I know Jeremy also isn't super into me coloring the line art. Like, and if I do, he wants to like retain the line art. So we're gonna try to do that. We're going to try to retain all of these tentacles. Yeah, man. I was thinking like all the issues. I don't think this happens in the beginning of the run. I'm not sure. The Brian Azzarello, Cliff Chang, Dr. 13 comic made a funny meta joke about the page turn, where the Dr. 13 begged the reader not to turn the page because it will end his existence. That's pretty fantastic. I was thinking about doing, Commodity does a double page spread every three, or like on page 2, 3 every time. I don't know if he does it in the beginning of the run because I wasn't hip to it yet, so I got to reread it. But I was thinking about doing a thread on Twitter of like top ranked Commodity spreads from, you know, from Kirby, because I feel like just some of these spreads are bonkers and they deserve to be out there floating around in the digital world a little bit. We're going to colorize a lot of these lines, but I kind of want to give it at least a... This is turning too yellow. It's too blue. There we go. This is tough because Jeremy has kind of like put the texture in already with the mark making, so there's not a whole lot for me to do in here. And then tell people not to do double page spreads. Yeah. Well, okay, this is the thing. This is the thing. If you're Jack Kirby, you can do double page spreads. If you're not Jack Kirby, congratulations, first of all, because you're still alive. And then secondly, don't do double page spreads. This is my beef with double page spreads, okay? Like, when Jack was doing them, it was like, I have to show you this like incredible dynamic moment. And then in a lot of the books that I'm reading now with double page spreads, it's like, hey, we're gonna do this wide panel at the top where that's like ultra wide, and it's like 3 people walking away from each other in a flat shot. And then it's just like a bunch of panels down below. And when people do that, guess what? I read the page wrong the first time through. I got so burned on a book that I really like. I'm not going to mention. I like every page. I had to check to see if it's a double page spread before I started reading the page. Every page turn. It was such a bummer. I really wish that they did not do that. That's what spawned the no double page spreads. Hey Kelly, you gotta eat that thing right there. You have to. What I'm saying is, if you're gonna do a double page spread, like do one, commit to it. You know? You have to. She's chewing her walrus that has long since lost her squeaker. The problem you have is that it kind of doesn't show how to. The Kindle doesn't show how to deal with it. Yeah, exactly. I read things mostly digital, and every time I do a double page spread, what should be this big, beautiful piece of art just shrinks down. Don't get me started on this thing now where people drop main speaking characters and over the shoulder all the time. Oh man. Kevin, please don't read my comic book that I'm making right now. I don't know if I'm doing that or not, but it feels like something that I would do. You think it's a waste of story real estate? Yeah. Again, the Ultimates with a 4-page spread that had to be folded out. That's awesome. See, like that's cool. A single image 4-page spread folded out, like bonkers good. I did I did off the top of my head. I have one shot where it's over the shoulder and 2 characters are over the shoulder. One character is talking to them in the back, and then the two characters are talking amongst themselves in like hushed tones, and I felt like over the shoulder worked okay for that. Because you don't see them, but they're also like whispering to themselves. So like storytelling wise, right, Kevin? That'll work, right? Storytelling wise. Look, what I'm saying is that Jack Kirby and I, masters of storytelling. That's basically, you know, a lot of people are saying it these days. That's what people are saying mostly. So in addition to just comparing myself favorably to Jack Kirby, what else I've been up to today or these days is, man, I can't even say it with a straight face, like comparing myself favorably with Jack Kirby. Is started building a website with a store, and then I'm gonna put stuff on the store. But so many don't consider, story or acting. Yeah, it's just, well, you know, it's people get a script and they got to bang it out as quickly as possible, and sometimes things get lost in the shuffle. It's also like, you know, you also have to in Jack Filarby, Kirby Filardy, yeah. You also, I feel like people too, it's like the average reader isn't going to care about this acting. They're going to read the text as quickly as possible and get to the page where people are punching. I feel like that's what the average reader is like in comics. I don't know if that's good or bad or right or wrong, but it feels like that sometimes. Jack Kirby, Nick Florey, and Kelly. yeah, right, exactly. Anyway, I'm appreciating Jack Kirby more than I ever have before, and I like that feeling. It makes me want to read more of his stuff, especially his DC stuff. So yeah, I started building a store because I'm not doing any shows this year, and I figured like if there was ever a year to start building a store, and then plus I'm working on that thing. I'm like making a zine, and then I'm like I want to sell it to people, so that facilitates needing a store. So I'm gonna put some cryptid prints up there that you can only get there, some stickers and stuff. And let me tell you, it is not super fun, or it's like kind of easy to build a store. Like all the tools and all the knowledge is out there, like pretty easy to pick up. But one of the things, there's like a lot of cost to it as far as like getting it off the ground that I did not anticipate. I thought that it would be a lot cheaper than it actually was. I spent about $200 like getting the domain and the hosting space for the year. And then like trying to figure out how to ship things and buying the shipping materials and all that. It's like, it's not a small feat. And it made me like really appreciate other people who have run stores for a long time. And also just like anyone that I've ever purchased something from online. Like what I'm saying is like, I see you, I feel your pain, I understand. I asked around, got some pretty good like tips for putting together stores, which one of them was like, when you put your store, put on every single item, allow 1 to 3 weeks for shipping, because people are maniacs about shipping now. Another really good piece of advice that I got was if you can eat a little bit of the shipping cost and build it into the price of the item, because people will be excited about, you know, they'll buy an item that's like $60 and $5 shipping, but they won't buy an item that is $40 and $10 shipping, you know? So you have to like price things appropriately. All right, let's tweak this just a tiny bit. Can we, yeah, blew it up a little. Maybe? Maybe not. A good shop address. I'm surprised that Twitch wasn't like, no, you can't post that. Just darken it up a little, make it a little more thicker in color. Man, I don't like the wings at all. What if we went a lot lighter on the wings? I'm gonna put that on my business card, by the way. Kirby might be gone, but you know what's the next best thing? Nick Filardi. You know what the next best thing is? And humble to boot? Nick Filardi. Comics will break your heart. Yeah, so there's all these like hidden costs like building the store. Like it was like $200 to get everything like legit and like ready to launch. And then it was another spent like another $100 on like packing supplies. I'm gonna be eating shipping costs like a little bit, which is not that big of a deal. And then the other thing is like I had to set up a PO box for it because you're not going to buy a $3 sticker and then get to know where I live. You have to look for my address on the dark web, just like everybody else. The Black Mobius? Whoa, whoa. Intense claim. Especially for a white man. Very intense claim. No, I don't know. Trying to figure these wings out. They're just not light enough. There we go. There we go. We're getting there. What if we shift these a little bit, make them a little more, yeah, a little more gray, a little more brown. The Black Mobius. That is, man. You know, in Japan, Mobius sat and got molds of his hands made in like their, he is black and he draws nothing like Mobius. An intense claim. It'd be easier to draw more like Mobius and not be black, maybe? I don't know. That's an intense claim though. That's pretty great. Mobius, his hands are like bronzed in Japan. He's one of the only non-Japanese comic artists who had this honor in like a bunch of other bronzing of hands. I don't know. This is like half a story that I half remember. I apologize. I should have never brought it up. Who's your friend? Call him out because I want to see his work. I don't mean to like call him out because like, you know, let's roast this fool. No. I'm just curious. Whoa, did it work? You said he's the Black Mobius, and I'm like, show me the work. He psychologically he won. He beat me. I gotta start calling myself the White Jack Kirby. God, this conversation's bad. This line of questioning is bad. All right, I think we're done. I'm gonna save it. Hold on. We're not quite done. Hold on. We gotta let Jeremy know. There you go. Now we're done. We can get your hands bronzed. I would love to get my hands bronzed. Only to preserve them in this state before they deteriorate forever. All right. Coloring's done. Coloring's over. We're done with coloring. I'm gonna start drawing. I actually just got compression gloves for my hands because we're all falling apart. Everything has an expiration date, including my hands. Last of the decaf. All right, so when we last saw this, it was a thing. We're figuring it out. I've got a lot of thoughts about this. So my first thought is that I started wanting to offer prints on my website, and then I'm like, oh, I'm working at a size that's stupid. That's the first thought. So I shifted to 11 by 17, hence these gray bars at the bottom and top. 11 by 17 seems to be like kind of the standard for prints around the web. So that's what we're doing. I wanted to do like one of these bad boys, but this is dumb. We're just gonna chuck that. I feel like, I don't know. I was trying to not be influenced by some pieces when I originally started working on this, and you're forgiven if you don't remember because it was like at least a month ago. We're coming in with the freshest of eyes, but I feel like I want to just take. Oh, hello. We're just gonna look. This is what we're gonna do. Crunch all those layers, and we're just working anew. Wait. We're gonna crunch all these layers. If we I just had like a vision of if I did bronze my hands, them ending up in like a Goodwill somewhere, like long after I'm dead, with like some like teenager being like, "The hell? Why are these weird hands here?" Yeah, get some new content. Yeah, I'm trying, buddy. I'm trying. So I want to shrink these guys. We might even, hey, let's shrink these guys real bad. Get out of here, guys. We're out of here. This is from the first stream that you watched, Kevin. I love my new viewers. Thank you for joining us. Welcome. We're gonna try to. I like the guy sitting, although I think the legs look weird. But I kind of wanted to like, you know, light pouring in this way, and then we'll do like some trees in the back here too. which I'm like really, really loose gesturing these guys in. And I was thinking about putting like a smaller, like I don't think we need a whole lot. We don't need to be like totally in the face of the viewer. Like they'll pick it up. They'll pick up what we're putting down. Although I don't want to have him like standing on top of the rock. That's like a weird tangent. What if we put him here? I think you may have tried to watch before, but it was, yeah, games and not your jam. Yeah, that's fair. Games are the only thing that I can really keep rock solid consistent, just because art is hard and it takes a lot of my brain cells, and sometimes I just don't have it in me to do more than, you know, what I get paid for. I wish I could, I was saying in the beginning of this stream, like I wish I could stream art all the time, but man, it's tough. It's tough doing extra stuff. In fact, like I'm working on this now and I'm like, shit, man, I don't want to do this. It'd be nice to, my allergies are acting up and I'm like, it'd be nice to just, you know, sit on the couch and have some ice cream and watch some TV. Doesn't that sound nice? But no, I'm doing it for you, the people. I don't know if you can tell, there's a whole allergy thing happening here. Maybe we are doing too much in this area. And we need to clear this out for this guy. Preach, yeah. It's like, here's the thing about art. It's so much easier to just like not do art. That's the real struggle. That's the real struggle with art, is that it's they don't tell you this when you're in art school, but it's like a lot easier to just like not do art. They should tell you that, by the way, when you're in art school. That's a lot easier to not do art. Could save a lot of people from making some mistakes. These are too black. You announced on your Instagram that you were feeling inspired. You're going to do 6 fan arts again this year. And right away you thought you were going to regret making this promise. Yeah. It's really hard to do extra stuff. Yeah, man. You know, like right away you're like, I've made a mistake. I'm right there with you. Like it's like before every I can sit down and do a game stream, no problem. Before every art stream, I'm like, all right, let's do it. Especially if I'm drawing, because like it takes a lot of brain power for me to draw this mediocre. So yeah, I feel you. I one of the things, because like art, don't do it. Yeah. One of the things that it's not art, don't do it. It's art. Are you sure? That's what it is. One of the things that I was like, oh, I have an online store. I should put some originals up there. Like now that I figured out how to build this thing, like putting originals up there is not that hard. I was like, I should do like every day do like a portrait of like whatever comic I'm reading or whatever. And then I'm like, I'm gonna sit down and like do a piece of art that like I guess I'm just gonna do extra on the side. And then I was like, oh God, then I have to sell it to people. And then I was like, oh, like then it has to be good. And then I started feeling pressure. It's just like nonstop. It's nonstop. Cause yeah, you're making all your mistakes. Yeah. You tried it once and that was enough. Yeah, I feel you. Yeah, like this tree doesn't look great, and everybody can see it now. I was actually thinking, I was like, man, I should look up some forest reference. Let's just slow down. Let's just, for a minute, let's just think. Because this took a turn, and I don't know if this is the right turn we want to be taking. What do our thumbnails look like? Our thumbnails all look better than the thing we're making. I don't know how we ended up here. How did we end up here? Kevin did this to us, I'm sure. I'm positive. Like, this is better. This group of threes. Kevin 100% did this to us. In case you guys don't know, one of the things in art that's really great is when, oh, that's Jeremy Hahn's thing. That's no good. When you can put three objects together and you do a small, medium, and large grouped together, it is visually pleasing. Although I don't know if these guys are small, medium, and large enough. You might have to vary their shape a little bit. Or also, this thumbnail is not as vertical as it should be. Yeah, that's right. We're just going back. We're just chucking our hour of work or whatever right in the trash. Who needs it? Not this guy. One of the things that I used to beat myself up about, by the way, speaking of throwing away art, is I wouldn't have a lot of time with comics coloring, like kind of dominating my workflow. Is this thing working? Is this working? Yes. With comic coloring dominating my workflow, I was like, oh, I don't have enough time to sit down and do the work I want to do. And then when I would sit down, I did have like a spare window to do some work. I was always like, bronze Mobius hand. I was always like, this has to be fruitful because I don't have a lot of time for this. So this has to work. And then I would sit down and I don't know if you guys have ever like put a lot of pressure on you while you sit down to work, but let me tell you, you don't make great work that way. You really don't. It doesn't really loosen you up. Not at all. You want to be loose. You want to be loose. The looser I get, the better I get. Or the less I care about how bad it is. It's one of the two. We're just chucking and jiving. Like, first of all, I've never seen a tree before in my life. So like, we're really winging it out here. Secondly, we're just shucking and jiving, man. Like, what does tree bark look like? Who knows? Trees? You mean the things from the 80s? I live in a cyberpunk future. The only time I see a tree is if Facebook reminds me about it. It's sad. It's incredibly sad. I don't know. I'm trying not to zoom in. I know that I'm like working within like 4 pixels. Good rest of the stream. You won't be dragging me down anymore. Not at least not the next one. See you later, Kevin. I know I'm working like within 4 pixels on the screen, which is super annoying, but like I'm actually actively trying not to zoom in because I would like to get more general kind of shapes down before we start putting down more specific kind of stuff. These creatures too, man, they have like a glow about them. So we're gonna try to lean into that a little bit. One of the things that I was kind of like figuring out when I was like putting together the store, I was like, maybe I might want to do some. Have you seen the trees? They're the creepiest things you've ever seen. No, I haven't seen that. Do a quick Google search right now. Oh, weird. So strange. They look like they're walking. That is very strange. This is like the kind of stuff that like and no one knows why they grow contorted like that. That's bizarre. It's like one of those things that like if you drew that, people would be like, why'd you draw the trees like that? And you'd be like, it's a real thing. You fool, it's a real thing. I'm just trying to warn people. I want these guys to be mostly white because they do kind of glow. Again, we're just basic shapes. We gotta fix this guy's like weird anatomy. So the Fresno Nightcrawlers, like, let's fix this guy. Let's fix this guy. It's like they're, I don't know how to describe them. In my mind, it's like they're, okay, it's like hips, you know, here. And then they have like normal legs kind of thing. Only this bone's extra thick. So it's like kind of like this kind of thing. And then what would normally be like, you know, rib cage kind of thing instead is like rib cage, you know, really tall, and then like a head that's like attached. So they're kind of like these like weird shapes like this. If this makes any kind of sense. There's also a circular clearing in the forest where nothing grows. They've tested the soil and there's nothing different about it. Weird. That's bizarre. So like this is kind of how they end up. This is like the anatomy of the Nightcrawler. And then they have eyes. I was thinking, by the way, I was like, we should give them human eyes. Maybe we're gonna try it. So like this guy, because he's like, this is like the hips kind of thing, and because he is this size, his legs are probably only like this size. Maybe we can do like this kind of thing. They're very weird. They're very weird. It needs to make like visual sense. It needs to look like it's executed this way on purpose. One of the things that I get really self-conscious about is when I draw like weird creatures for the internet to consume, that people are going to be like, "Oh, Nick doesn't understand proportions." Like that's something he's got to work on, and it's like, no, the proportions are weird on purpose. That's only because I have a lot of self-doubt with drawing in general. Hey man, how's it going? Look at his weird beefy leg. Look at that. It's a weird beefy leg. Okay. We gotta kind of like make this stuff make sense a little bit. All right. We shouldn't put his hips this high. Should be lower. And then these legs should be shorter. Maybe we'll put one up and one down kind of thing. I'm not exactly sure what we're going to be doing. I know I kind of want to anchor the bottom of the piece in darkness. So we're going to see about that. Set to screen. Because we're going to put light up here. Like that. Something like that. Make it feel kind of angelic a little bit, even though these guys are just real weirdos. We drew a little butt on this guy. I didn't even realize that. It's all right. We can draw the butt. Something like this. So this looks so weird. I can't tell if it's weird in a good way yet. I was trying to do 2 of these a month, by the way. These not night crawlers, but like 2 cryptids a month. And it kind of got away from me. I had like kind of a weird month, and I was working on pages, and I just blanked on 2 of them. March, like I feel like March just came and went. I was also working on the website, so I had a lot of stuff going on. We're gonna try to get back into it, hopefully. draw some more cryptids, because that's what I want to be doing. March did go by fast. Yeah, man. Something about it. I booked a thing and I was working on the website, and it was like, I don't know, I was just working on a bunch of stuff and it just went by. All right. This is far stronger than where we were at before. I'm trying to think of, maybe we can put like a tree branch here. Like something that kind of feels in the way. Like you're kind of intruding on them, maybe. I might have to tweak these tree branches a little bit, but give it like a little bit of depth. Could be good. All right, I'm a lot happier with this. How long have we been streaming? An hour 13. All right, we can keep going. I kind of want to like wrestle some forest reference. I think that's what I'm going to do. I think we're not going to keep going. I think I'm going to find some forest reference for this, because so much of this is like painting trees, and it has to feel convincing and good. So I'm going to do that, and then we're going to paint trees. Thanks for joining me. I know it's kind of an abrupt end. We'll figure it out. I feel like I just need some tree reference, and I need to find it off stream before I can really like work on it on this stream. Maybe we should like shrink this guy a little bit. Maybe this guy should be like a little guy. Oh, maybe we're not done. Maybe we're not. I don't know. But then he's like head to head with this guy. I don't know. That's not good. I'm going to keep him a little taller. Maybe we got to shrink this guy just a little bit. Yeah. I'm into it. Get that 3 tall, medium, large thing going. Yeah. So I'm gonna look up some tree reference, and we're gonna try to paint some trees on the next one. I might try to stream either tomorrow or the day after, but we'll see what happens. Thanks for joining me. See you in the next one.